Four Midwest Guys presents The Night's Watch, a Game of Thrones podcast.
Night gathers, and now my watch begins. I am the sword in the darkness. I am the watcher on the walls. I am the shield that guards the realm of men.
We watch, we listen, and we remember. The past is already written, the ink is dry.
I thought he was the man to lead us through the long night. I was wrong.
I'll show them what Lannisters are. What we do to our enemies.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink, and I know things.
I believe men of talent have a part to play in the war to come. I will never settle down for it.
You could help another climb those steps and take that seat.
I'm not going to stop the wheel. I'm going to break the wheel.
They have no idea what's going to happen.
The real war is between the living and the dead. And make no mistake, the dead are coming.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Four Midwest Guys Presents The Night's Watch, a Game of Thrones podcast. Tonight we'll be reviewing Episode 5 Eastwatch, and here to help me do that today is my brother Aaron.
Hey, how's it going?
How you doing, dude?
Yeah, I'm alright.
All right, well, let's get started. It is a jam-packed episode. All right, so not a lot of action in this episode, Aaron, but definitely a lot of substance.
Yeah, I actually think this is a kind of a funny episode because it really hits a lot of story points it needs to hit in a very short time frame.
Very short time frame, and we are all over the place. It took me like 4 hours to write these notes, literally getting me constantly hitting pause.
Yeah, because essentially you go like 30 seconds to like a minute, and you pretty much are entering like a new scene almost.
Almost, yeah. I mean, it's that quick, and there's a lot that in those short scenes, they cover a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, even like
points.
on like scenes that are all kind of the same location, you're still jumping quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Like later on, we'll get to King's Landing. You're jumping back and forth throughout King's Landing, and then even as we're staying at the north area, like we generally are
the Wall and Eastwatch, and
like pretty much
Winterfell.
Between even like the Winterfell scenes, you're jumping from like one thing to the next very quickly without it. And it's just giving you just enough to where you kind of get the plot point and it goes forward.
Then you're moving on.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of making up for where they would have those other 3 episodes. They would insert this stuff in action-packed episodes. Here, they kind of had to take an episode and throw it all together.
Yeah, like as much as I like this episode, there are some scenes I kind of wouldn't have minded if they were played out a little longer in a traditional season.
Yeah, just to kind of get the gist, maybe flush a few things out.
I mean, especially by the time we get back to like introducing some characters again, like there's some like really funny moments that really I think could have been played out and been a little slower and like without jumping to something else. And I think the dynamic might have worked a little better.
Yeah, definitely.
But overall, it's still a really good episode.
Oh yeah, definitely, absolutely up there. I agree. So let's jump right into it. We basically, I call this the long swim. So we come back, and the first scene is when we left at the end of episode 4. We see Jaime falling and sinking in the water.
Yeah, and
somehow miraculously he is now looks like he has gone for one heck of a swim, and is him and.
I wouldn't really think the water would be that deep from like where he fell, though.
Not only that, but how do you hold your breath that long to get from one end of the lake to the other without coming up for air somewhere?
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's probably a few brain cells that died in that swim.
I'm sure they did.
The body was probably grasping for oxygen.
I was just like, man, these guys are some Olympic divers or something. But
also, I mean, the fact that he was actually able to come up even though he was wearing like full body armor, like, and that most likely is like an extra 50, 60 pounds?
Every bit, yeah, especially what he was in his full armor too. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like I know like you have Bronn there who's pretty much just in leather who's also helping with that, but still not an easy task by any means.
No, definitely.
Though it also does confirm it was Bronn, and
it was Bronn, right?
And that was a little hard to tell in the last.
It was. I actually thought maybe it was Dickon, but no, it is actually.
You thought they'd have a reading moment for Dickon, but
poor Dickon.
Yeah.
Kind of like Rickon. I guess anybody that ends in ON, just
they're not fond of the ONs.
They don't last long.
Well, I mean, you have John. But
he kind
of came back.
But it's not like John. It's just John.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
But I love there's some great lines in here. Bron's like, "What the fuck are you thinking?" Until I get paid, only I get to kill you.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, his line in response to that was like, "I saw a chance to end the war." At the same time, he's like, "Did you not see the fucking dragon standing between you two?" Which, I mean, it's a pretty big dragon. I think he probably should have. Or he probably did.
And I love Bron's logic. He's like, until I get paid, you don't do shit like that ever again.
There's also the jokes like, now that dragons are in the fray, man, I feel like my contract's up for bid.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hey, you're fucked. What do you mean you're fucked? Don't you mean we're fucked? No. I'm gone. I'm out. That's where we part ways, pal.
Giant flame-breathing monsters was not in the contract.
But yeah, so it's a nice little interaction, and I like it, even the ending when he's like, I have to tell Cersei. He said, you might as well jump. You should jump back in the river.
Oh yeah, apparently he assumed that would go worse than the interaction with the dragon.
Yeah, and he's probably would have been right under normal circumstances. If it wasn't
for it,
yeah, if he wasn't, Jaime to her, and whatever. Okay, so let's move on to post-mortem battle of the loot train. Tyrion's kind of surveying the utter destruction and carnage.
Yeah, it's actually kind of an interesting, like, as fast-paced this episode is, it's a nice kind of quiet moment, and you almost see, like, kind of a bit of sadness and remorse of, like, kind of destroying, like, what was his own people. Like, people he might have actually led in, like, the Battle of Blackwater.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, these are his, like you said, he probably fought alongside of some of those people at Blackwater. And
like, it's interesting seeing, like, a bit of, like, remorse about it, even though he doesn't really seem like he regrets what he did, but there is kind of a sad moment to it, or a sad hue. Yeah,
because it has a very different feel. It's not the, like, it's not like the battlefield after a massive medieval fight, right? Like where you just see bodies everywhere. Here it's just like ash.
Yeah.
And
I think I've seen somewhere where someone like compared like the dragons to essentially being an air fleet.
Yeah.
And that's kind of accurate. Like it's pretty much like you look at like World War I footage or World War II footage and just seeing kind of the ashes of people that were, blown up on bombs or mines, and like it has something closer to that feel.
It definitely does. It's just kind of out of place almost. It's because we've never seen a battle with dragons before, much less the aftermath of dragons.
But I mean, it's before we've kind of just seen like you look back at like the Battle of the Bastards and you have just bodies piling up, and this time it's just they're all turned to ash.
Yeah, they're just gone.
Yeah, like it's definitely a different version of hell.
And I think, and then the other scene. Or part of that scene, you see Dothraki taking swords from the dead. I'm beginning to think Tyrion is thinking much less of the Dothraki with every passing moment, just because of everything.
The whole looting the bodies.
Looting the bodies afterwards. It's his own people.
It probably doesn't add to it, but at the same time, that's probably not even something other armies of the time are against. Yeah. Like, there's nothing we've seen that suggests that they look down on looting your enemy's corpse.
Yeah, maybe, but I think it just adds to his suffering in the moment. I think it's like, really, I'm my people are ash. I've destroyed my own people, and you're taking their swords. But
I mean, like you have an army that's trying to like take over. Yeah, you're going to collect resources and try to use them. It makes sense.
It makes sense,
but it doesn't add to his moment.
No. It definitely
doesn't brighten his day any.
No, it adds to his torture and his inner turmoil, probably.
Yeah,
honestly. All right, so Dany bending is back to demanding her prisoners to bend the knee that they've taken during the battle.
Well, at the same time, it's not like she has prisons to send them to, so...
True, other than maybe Dragonstone, but who wants to do that?
Right? I mean, I don't know exactly the distance you'd have to actually travel to do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what would be the benefits of it, really.
Yeah. And she does try to make her case. She's like, I'm not Cersei,
I'm not attacking your towns and your villages.
Burning.
I know the propaganda she's using against you, and I want to assure you, I do not live up to that.
Right. So
I am not a monster, flame-breathing dragon sort of thing.
Right.
But she does have them.
She does have them, and obviously, she says, bend the knee or die, and Lord Tully, being the stubborn ass that he is, and, that we've seen so much from him, it's honor, refuses.
It's more pride than honor.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, even Tyrion makes the argument, like, you've already betrayed one queen, or one person you've been pledged to.
Right.
Like, what's another at this point?
What are you trying to do? And obviously, he refuses. She says she respects that. And
I think in some ways there is a certain pride of like being defeated on the battlefield for the old dude, though. Like, because once you see like Dickon taking place with him, he's like, "Fuck no."
Well, yeah. Even he's like, "You're a fool. You're a foolish child." He's trying. Even he's like, "No,
you should fucking stay."
Yeah.
I lost this battle and my pride with it. I'm okay to go.
Right.
But you're the last leader of the fucking house.
So yeah, you should take responsibility and step up and be the house. But no, Dickon goes with him, and even
stupid Dickon.
Yeah, stupid Dickon, really, because even Tyrion's like, one house has already fallen to this war.
Don't make it another.
Don't make it another, you moron.
Yeah.
But now he sticks with his dad.
Technically, I guess Sam's still out there, but I don't know if he counts since he was kind of disowned.
He was pretty much kind of disowned. I mean, Sam is now, well, once we get past this part, he will become the head of the... He becomes the head of the house by default, in my opinion.
I mean, whether anyone acknowledges that or not is a different thing, though.
Right, exactly. But technically, he is the eldest son, so... Yeah, I would say probably.
I know. Does he have another brother that's still alive, or no?
I don't
think so, right?
Not that I know of. I'm not like a book expert like some people are, but
I'm pretty sure it was just Dickon, right?
It was Dickon and him, and I thought that was it. So maybe there's another one. I don't know. I'd have to look into that. But obviously, Tyrion goes on, what good comes from beheading him? She's like, oh, I'm not beheading them.
Yeah. No. And actually, I think she makes a good point here. I think what she does is inciting fear and terror in a way that beheading wouldn't.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's using dragons, that's something only you have, and showing how fucking horrible that is to die by. And honestly, I thought the dragon was going to fucking eat him.
Yeah, I did too.
That's what they were going to do.
I kind of did too. I was like, yeah, he'll just eat them, and that's effective. And
I'm like, you got big dragons. I'm sure they're hungry. You probably don't have an excess of cattle currently. You probably just let them eat the corpses, right? No, just burn them.
Yeah, it was just like... And the whole scene was, obviously it was horrific, right? In typical Game of Thrones fashion.
I don't think it's the worst one we've seen on it, but you can definitely see where Tyrion is like, kind of be like, hey, don't go too far.
Well, yeah, I mean, Tyrion even tries to get Lord Tully to take the black, and he's like, you can't do that, she's not my queen. He talks her out of that.
Yeah.
Won't let his honor, even though it's him and his son are about to be burnt to a crisp.
Tyrion really tries to throw every fucking rope he can, and they're just like, fuck you, I'm out.
Yeah, and, it's just like, and he's like, but, he even went as far as, we'll put him in chains.
Yeah.
Nothing like a good few weeks in a cell to change a man's mind. And nothing. She's like, no, I gave him a choice.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah. And I mean...
And I respect that too, honestly.
I mean, you don't want to show weakness when you're, first battle with an invade or, other army. Maybe.
Right.
At the same time, like, I can kind of see Tyrion's concern with, wiping entire houses off,
right.
Westeros, when essentially you do want to kind of keep it together and, like, actually rule over it.
Yes, exactly. And honestly, burning them to a crisp kind of reflects back to her father, really. Yeah. I mean, because he burned people alive, too. So.
Yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, is it causing fear and allowing, like, 90% of the dudes to follow her? Yes.
Yes.
Is that bad in terms of, like, propaganda going forward? Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to make an awfully good case for Cersei if she ever wants to use that. Yeah.
Like, look, she burned prisoners alive.
Yeah.
I didn't burn prisoners
just
alive.
Like her father, Oh, well. Well, at least she got the rest of the prisoners to bend the knee after they saw the get burned alive.
Like, what are your options, right?
Yeah, it's like, I don't really want to die like that, so...
and it's not like... I can't imagine Cersei's, like, super popular. Like, I imagine they were really following, like, Tully more so than Cersei.
I would think so as well. So, but anyway, she does get him to bend the knee, and I really hope he didn't like Dickon very much, because... Well,
I don't know. Gone. I mean, Dickon might be a very, missed character.
We'll see. I'll miss the jokes, if nothing else.
Oh, so, what, the dick-on jokes?
The dick-on jokes I'm going to miss. I'm really going to miss those.
I'm sure you can still make them. It's just harder to bring into conversation.
It's kind of hard now. You know, he got burnt alive. He took a really crappy death.
Well, I don't know how hard it is. I mean, he is burnt to ash.
Well, he's definitely not going to... Yeah, he's definitely not hard now. That's all right. Well, so now that we've taken care of dick-on jokes, let's move on.
We've had our Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to Jamie and Cersei discussing the odds here. They're kind of going back and forth. Still talk. She asked about how many men do we lose. Like, oh, honestly, we're trying to count the ashes.
Just made it difficult.
It was the ashes. A little hard.
But he really did get back to King's Landing very quickly.
Well, they weren't that far from King's Landing.
Okay.
So they were remembered because they said the gold had just made it through the gate, and that they were just further behind the train of grain and loot and whatnot.
But it's interesting. It kind of like same day, it seems.
Yeah. So they weren't that far from King's Landing. In fact, I was surprised that she turns around and actually heads back to Dragonstone after all that.
Yeah, that's a fair point, just because of how close they are.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I think there's an argument for her not actually attacking King's Landing, even though...
Oh, yeah, I mean, she wouldn't, but I'm surprised she didn't start to surround it or something.
Yeah.
Cut it off, but she didn't. But anyway, so they talk, they have no idea how many men they've lost yet because of the ash. She's like, well, we can buy mercenaries. We've got the Iron Bank. We paid them off, so they'll be more than happy to put us back in debt to them.
Well, it's interesting because he's like, if you saw the Dothraki and what they can do, there's no mercenary group that's going to beat them 2-1.
Exactly.
It's like we could have 3 times the amount of mercenaries, and they're still going to fucking die.
He's like, it'll beat any army, and they just did that for sport. They weren't even fighting. They were just beating the shit out of us for the hell of it.
Yeah. Like, it was just a good old hunt for them.
And then, by the way, she's got 3 dragons as well. So what are we going to do?
Really, I think even just the 1 dragon kind of puts the odds in your favor, apparently.
Yeah, but multiply that by 3, and you're fucked.
Like, she just has spare. She has spare dragons.
Yes. Did she use her biggest dragon? Yeah, but she still has 2 more.
Yeah. I don't know if, size equals flame power here. It might. Maybe. I don't know. Either way, breathes fucking fire.
Good enough, right?
Kinda.
I think so.
Bigger than a horse, breathes fire. I think that's going to be kind of equivalent.
Still has, the equivalent of mass weapon of mass destruction.
Kind of. Yeah. I mean,
reusable.
It's still a giant flame-throwing air force.
Yep, I agree. But they have no choice but to either fight, to fight, essentially, is what she comes down to. She kind of comes to that conclusion, I guess. It's like, well, whether I have to fight or negotiate to die, what are we going to do here?
Yeah, essentially, it's like, no matter what she does, she feels like she's in the, glare of death, so...
Right.
Pretty much you go down fighting or you just go down die.
Yeah, because she's like, well, I'm sitting on her throne that was her father's, and she's no fan of mine, so, what am I going to do here? And she's got a point. There's nothing she can do, really.
Yeah.
And then, she hears, and this is the part about the scene I love the most, is when she finds out about Joffrey.
Yeah.
And Jamie explains that, it was the Tyrell, it was the Queen of Thorns, it was Elena.
She doesn't really believe it at first.
Yeah, she's like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, and I loved his line, who would you want your granddaughter to marry, Joffrey or Tommen?
Yeah.
Even Jamie has to make that point.
Yeah.
Where,
and it's both of them see the point, though. It's like, which one do you think would be easier to manipulate?
Right.
Tommen,
come on.
Yeah.
Let's face it, Joffrey was an ass. And, little antichrist for sake. So, it was just I just love when she finally hits her in that bitch moment, and she's just like, and then she just turns around and blames him for letting her off easy.
You shouldn't have, I shouldn't have let you talk me out of skinning her alive.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
She should have died screaming.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. It was just typical, perfect Don Cersei, except she doesn't get her revenge.
Yeah, well, I mean, she kind of does. Her entire family's wiped off.
Yeah, but
that's pretty good revenge.
It's good revenge for most people.
She killed one person, you killed all her family. All of them, and herself included.
Yeah.
You wiped her house from it.
And I think that would probably be good for me or you or for anybody else, but for her, Probably not.
She wanted a little more suffering involved.
Yeah, she's all about the suffering. As we found out with the Dorn girls.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So let's move on. John tames the dragon.
Well, I mean, he meets a dragon, and the dragon doesn't eat him.
True, but not too many people can actually...
Yeah, like, he actually is, like, petting it like it was a fucking horse.
Right, and it's interesting because that's only the third person I think we've seen do it. Dany can obviously do it.
Yeah.
We've seen Tyrion do it.
Yeah, briefly.
When he took off the chains off, right? And now Jon can do it. So...
Yeah. Well, I mean, we know Daenerys is Targaryen. It's already pretty much been confirmed.
Jon is
as well.
Right.
There's also a lot of heavy hints that's true of Tyrion as well.
Yep.
So it could be a bloodline thing.
Yep, it could be, and it just kind of reinforces. And I think this is that kind of cool moment for all the nerds out there that are, tracing the bloodlines.
Yeah, like it's reconfirming some theories, but it's interesting because we pretty much confirmed this like a season back, so it's interesting to have those smaller reaffirmations of it.
Yes, exactly.
Like, it really doesn't seem like it has like the punch it would have like earlier in the seasons, right? Had you seen this before you saw like the background story of like his mother and all that?
If we hadn't known about that yet, it would have probably made this moment that much more interesting.
Yeah.
But I think this is just like a little nod to the fans and giving the nerds like, oh, look, he's taming the dragon.
Because of how quickly the scene goes by, I think it's really just like, hey, dragons don't eat him. That's going to be important for the story going forward. Heads up.
FYI, hint, hint, wink, wink, nod, nod.
Like, because essentially, there's not really a useless scene this episode.
No, definitely.
So,
not.
like, I think this might be more than just reaffirmation that,
that he's a Targaryen.
I think it might be something that's a small little thing. It's like, hey, so when this thing happens later down, you saw the scene, like, there's actually, like, consistency here. It's not just like we went full metal on the last episode and have like hacks wielding dragon riders.
I did like her first line to him. She goes, well, what do you think of them? Aren't they beautiful? That's not exactly the word I would have come, but yeah, they're beautiful, sure.
Yeah.
I just crapped my pants, but
I mean, they're gigantic, but yeah.
And ferocious, yeah.
And a little lizardy.
A little scaly, a little slimy. But yeah, sure, they're beautiful. Love them.
Yeah.
And of course, she reaffirms that they're her children, right?
Yeah.
So, showing that bond. And it's funny because she goes on and she still hasn't let go of that heart thing. She's like, she asks again about the heart and the knife for the people. And Jon just kind of ignores the question. I mean, it's so...
Well, he's kind of deflecting the question a bit.
Yeah, I'm just wondering why it's sticking out in her head so much and why she's so curious about that all of a sudden. It's like something
she seemed interested from the time she heard it. It's like, that's weird. Can we come back from the dead? Wait. Do we have is that an option here?
I'm just wondering if there's something in their lore or something because that she knows,
referencing to her that's like playing back
to something about somebody taking a knife to the heart or something, because doing it 3 episodes in a row seems a little excessive other than just for a slip of the tongue.
It definitely does seem like a plot point in some way.
Yeah. So
once again, there's not a lot of like non-necessary parts here.
There's not, and to that fact, and like I said, for the 3rd episode in a row, she's asking somebody, and now she's asking Jon. Just tells me I think there's a little bit more to the story. I think, or I'm going to be kind of disappointed if there's not at this point. If they've spent this much time,
you expect it to kind of come up where there was a reveal of like what actually happened,
right? And there's some bigger connection or something. There's
possibly some
sort of a payoff other than her just being curious, because that seems a little excessive.
I don't know, like it's not necessarily a bad character point for just her being curious. At the same time, I would expect that to come up somewhere.
Also in the scene, Jorah Mormont returns.
Yep.
So it little bit of a love triangle moment.
I mean, there's that awkward kind of gaze back and forth.
Yeah. But Jon does acknowledge, I served with your father.
Yeah.
And he was an honorable man. And blah, blah, blah.
Jorah's like, weird. I have a lot of people that served for my father I'm meeting lately.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy.
Even though actually I don't think that comes up in conversation. You think it would, though, wouldn't you?
You think. But Dany...
Yeah, the guy that healed me said the same thing.
It's kind of strange. You think I'd bring that up? Huh. But I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, well. It'll come up later, I'm sure.
Mormont was just like, hi, pretty lady.
I'm back. What's up, babe?
Yeah.
Just give a big hug, and John's just like, okay.
Like, I feel like I shouldn't be here for this. This seems a little too friendly.
Too friendly, and I don't like it.
What's
I don't
the
like
age
it at all.
difference here? Like 30 years? It's not weird.
Yeah.
No, wait. No, it is. It is.
And yeah, I kind of have a thing for her right now, so yeah, this isn't cool.
Yeah, it's a weird love triangle, actually, because it's kind of creepy on all ends.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
one's aunt-niece relationship, and the other one's like a 30-year age difference.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess the 30-year age difference is the less creepy of the two.
For the time period, it's okay, and honestly,
for the show, it's not super against the incest, and at least it's not direct siblings, but still,
that's nasty. You know, honestly, the age thing doesn't bother me too much because it's medieval times and it's a little bit more common, and honestly, it's common in our time too.
Yeah.
I mean, our parents, your dad, my mom, you know, there's quite a bit. There's some years between the two, so
10, 15.
something like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, it wasn't 30, but
like, don't get me wrong. If you're into like a 30-year age difference in your relationship, that's fine as long as you know you're both in the same stages of life, sort of thing.
Right. So, but yeah. So moving on from awkwardness to awesomeness, Bran wargs a bunch of like a flock of raven.
I don't see why the flock's necessary. I feel like you could just do one and get the same information.
I didn't think it was necessary either.
No, it looks cool.
It does look
cool.
And I think they're doing that to show that his power is growing.
Yeah, but like they all go to the same place.
Yeah.
Like it's not like he just spread them out and like I see everything simultaneously.
Trying to find exactly where they were by spreading them out. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's just a visual display of Bran strength.
Don't get me wrong, it's a cool scene though.
Oh yeah, it's very cool.
So it is kind of cool how like the Night King sees them and is like disperse.
And with one look, he just does the turn of the head real quick, like ah.
And and all of a sudden they're like, "Fuck, we just found it." Yeah,
he loses the connection. But pretty cool to see. The other thing to take away from this is it just me, but is it every time that we see the Army of the Dead, they seem to get larger?
Yeah, they probably do. Because they're probably just collecting bodies as they go.
Yeah, to me it seems like they're almost 10,000 strong.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
Just from what we saw. I don't know.
Like, I don't know what number they have it at. But yeah, it seems like a shit ton of dead people.
Yeah, very, very much so. Yeah. Lots of dead people. So.
I mean, as the battles keep going, I'm sure there'll be more dead people. So, yeah.
Right. And then, of course, Bran's like to the Maester, send the ravens.
Yeah.
And
I hope he had extra ravens, because he took quite a few.
He did. Hopefully those were wild ravens and not messenger ravens.
It's not just like he released them from the cages.
You're free.
Fuck, we need those still?
Son of a bitch.
Wait. Give me like an hour, I'll bring them back.
I'm just three-eyed raven.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
The three-eyed raven, he does not fly like in physical form. He's really just hanging out.
Actually, he probably would show no emotion because he's kind of stoic now. So it'd be like, oh.
I don't know, you think like his personality will like reintegrate in time, or is like that's just him now?
I think that's just him now. So if they did say that was all the ravens, he'd just be kind of like, oh, okay, great.
I'll get more.
All right.
I can see being overwhelmed by like excess amounts of information, but like you would assume like your personality would kind of reintegrate into that after a bit.
Yeah,
right.
You would think
like you have people that have like overwhelming psychedelic experiences and like kind of come back to themselves in time.
Maybe in time, but he is kind of overwhelmed, I think, because he sees everything, and when he goes warging or whatever they call it, and so it's a lot of information to absorb and take on and try to make part of you, and I don't know.
Yeah,
you
can't. He had to kind of compress his personality there for to make more room.
Really, it's a lot of personality or a lot of power to take on, and it's going to change you. So
fair enough.
All right, so let's move on. We're Old Town, and the Maesters, they have already received the scroll, the Raven message about Bran's vision of the dead being very close to the wall now.
Yeah.
And Sam is in the background doing his
for
duties.
Whatever random reason he's there. It seems convenient timing, but
yeah, this is kind of like the Grand Council of the Maesters, I guess. In a
Yeah.
way. You know, kind of.
I mean, it seems like their weekly meeting sort of thing.
Yeah, kind of get together. But yeah, he supports. Sam supports Bran's claim, obviously.
Yeah.
And he offers the idea. He goes, well, if you back up this claim, people will believe you.
Yeah.
If you take this seriously, they're going to believe you.
Which is a fair point. Like, you pretty much have the height of academia, in this case, more or less making the argument for it, even though, I mean, that's not always going to be effective for you as modern time shows, but it would add credibility to it.
It would add a lot of credibility. He's like, if you tell them to send troops to the north, they will.
Yeah.
You know, all you got to do is just support it. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
You know, and
which makes sense in some ways, but I actually think there's a lot of people that wouldn't, even if the Maesters did support it.
Yeah.
Like, you look at Cersei, like, she's not going to leave King's Landing undefended for anything.
No, I think she would have to know that Dany would do the same, and that would be the only way. But he also continues with his story. He's like, and also you could have every maester poring over every scroll and every book on how to defeat these guys permanently.
Yeah, which actually seems like pretty
the best
decent
idea,
plan. Yeah.
Right? And at the very least, you think they'd assemble
like
2 or 3
worst
guys.
case scenario,
you know,
you go for like a weekend romp through all the stuff you have on White Walkers. You're probably not going to be that far behind on what other academic thing you're pursuing.
I really think Sam would have got better traction if he had like proposed it as a new book. Like they could call it The Tale of the White Walkers and made it a research project for them or something. And I think they would have been more excited.
Like what they're saying is like he needed a bit more salesmanship on this.
Yeah, it could have been like appealed to what they like to do. Be like, you guys could create the history of the White Walkers in one telltale book, you know. And
then you also have argument about who is given authority and like credibility on it.
Sure, but
there'd be some issues.
But it would be better than what he got out of this, which was we'll write the Maester Winterfell for more clarification. Yeah. Yes, we'll send a committee. Yes.
At the same time, they also have like the idea, well, maybe it's like actually espionage from like Daenerys, that she's actually trying to make arguments for like clearing away armies. And like, that's not a bad plan. Like, it's probably not a super effective one from her point, but it wouldn't be horrible.
And he's got a point, but again,
like if you actually listen to his arguments for it, it's like there was some credibility to it. Like, you go back to like a previous episode where he's talking about like, well, people thought the world was going to end on this thing and this thing and this thing. Like, he's rational about it. He does have a logical reason for it.
Because they are the ones of stability that keep society going. But at the very least, though, even with that thought in mind, you go back to poring over the books and the scrolls. You know, you can still do that. And nobody has to know that you're doing it.
It really wouldn't hurt you in any way.
Right.
I mean, worst case scenario, it delays some projects.
Precisely. So, I think you at least could have done that, but now they just we'll just get clarification. Obviously, Sam's really pissed off and frustrated.
Yeah,
kind of walks
between
out,
cleaning latrines and doing book duties, which I really thought he was going to gain more out of book duties. I really did.
Yeah, I did too.
But like that clearly just meant to like
that was really
nothing.
That was just a punishment. I really thought he was throwing him a bone. And
I did too.
Yeah, kind of disappointed. And at the end of the scene, they point out, well, haven't you told him about his brother or his father?
He's like, no, I didn't want to bother the poor lad.
I don't have the heart for it. Just like, really?
Yeah.
Come on, it's his dad and his brother, for crap's sake. I don't know. These guys are a bunch of eggheads. That's what I take away from all this.
Eggheads.
Eggheads.
That's an interesting term.
Eggheads. Yes. Eggheads. All right, moving on. Tyrion and Varys in the throne room. Kind of an interesting little tit for tat. Maybe.
It's actually a really short scene too.
Yes, most of these scenes in this episode are very short.
No, but I feel like this is one of the scenes that could have been played out a little longer than fine.
Yeah,
because really they are going through this very quickly.
Yep, and it's kind of funny because, like we were talking about before, they bring up the validity of Dany's execution methods for the Tullius.
Yes. Well, there's the concern with her becoming a king like her father was.
Right.
And Varys has that nice line, well, she won't be if she has someone to guide her
good
away
counsel,
from that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you need to find a way to make her listen
Though it's funny because you actually have Varys taking like a sip out of Tyrion's drink, and I think it's the first time you actually see Varys drink in a long time.
A very long time, but it's kind of like a meeting of the minds, really, the good guy minds, if you will, and it's just an interesting little conversation that they're talking amongst themselves.
Yeah, it does show concern
about our point earlier, So good scene, but I agree, should have been much longer. And
I feel like they could have drawn that out a little bit. I'm not against where it was. Clearly there was a lot happening in this.
Yes.
But I feel like that's one of the first scenes you see in this that really could have been played out maybe even 30 seconds longer, and it could have added to it.
Yeah. The comedy was good though too. He's like, "So what's in the scroll?" "Well, this is a sealed king for the king of the north." "Okay, great. What's in the scroll?"
All right, it's that's nice. What did it say?
Nothing good.
Yeah. It's that fun little thing where Varys has more information than he lets on about, and Tyrion's very well aware of it.
Yes.
Though it's funny because you're starting to see people catch on to Tyrion shit like that too.
Yes.
A wise man once says, was that wise man you? Maybe.
You wouldn't try to make yourself sound like a intelligent man, would you? No.
Never with you.
But yeah, so that moves right into the next scene, which is the grand plan to do something about the White Walkers. Yeah. Which is kind of interesting because I didn't think Dany would come this far this quickly. All she's really seen is heard Jon talk about it and other people talk about it and then see some cave drawings.
Yeah.
And that's all she has. But she's come quite a bit. Now, that might be because she's got a thing for Jon. But
well, that and it also, she doesn't really lose a whole lot by letting Jon go, really.
True. But you really see her.
That and it could be Jon's opinion on how to actually deal with the Lannisters and not actually going so far as actually taking down King's Landing directly might have actually influenced her on how he is as a leader.
Yeah.
Which actually might go back into the whole taking a knife to the heart thing. Because it actually is representative of him in terms of leadership.
Leadership and how far he's willing to go.
Yeah.
It's a good point. Fair point. So it opens up with Jon reading his scroll, and instead of being happy about it, he's like, "I thought Arya was dead. I thought Bran was dead.
How the fuck did all these people survive?
What is going on?"
Just fuck it. I don't know.
And Dany's line's even funnier. "Well, I'm very happy for you. What's wrong?" And obviously he says, he informs her about the White Walkers being on the way.
Apparently, the brother I thought was dead has magical psychic abilities. And is now predicting that White Walkers are going to attack here.
And Arya is a kick-ass assassin, apparently.
Yeah.
He doesn't know that yet, but still.
Yeah, it'll come up.
He'll come up.
He's got that Valyrian steel knife. He's going to get all stabby with it.
So obviously Jon's like, "Well, I have to go. I have to get prepared for the war."
I can't just be sitting out here on a rock.
We will fight with what we had unless you're going to fight with us. Yeah. Turning to Dany. And Dany's like, "Well, as soon as I go, Cersei's going to move right in. So I can't go. And we have to convince Cersei that the White Walkers are real." And that's what that's Tyrion. It's Tyrion that brings it in perspective. He's like, "Well, my mom, Cersei just thinks they're nursery rhymes to scare children and, bedtime stories to scare kids. So we have to find a way to convince my sister that they're real."
Yeah.
And then that's when he brings up, "Well, why not capture one soldier and bring it down to King's Landing?"
Yeah, which is an interesting plan because they don't seem to really roam on their own too frequently.
Mm-hmm.
At least in the big scrawling shots of them in, 1,000+ numbers.
Right.
So capturing an individual one's going to be an interesting task.
Yeah, I've suddenly got a picture of them. If I didn't know they didn't take a horse with them, because we've seen the episode, you think they would just take a horse, lasso one, and drag it behind them. And
it's not like the being dragged would really bother the White Walkers. Right. So it might just cut the rope as it's being dragged.
It might, but maybe throw a couple ropes on them. I don't know, but make a run for it, and then tie him up more and then take off.
I think they brought a cage with them, don't they? Or towards the end of the episode?
I did not see the cage if they did. It just looked like those 8 walking, and that's all I saw. Oh. So, but anyway, we'll get to that. So they're like, "Well, that's great, but Cersei might grant us an audience and then murder us."
Yeah.
So what are we going to do about that? And then Tyrion's like, "Well, she listens to Jaime, so..."
Which, I'm not even sure how he knows Jaime survived at this point, if we're being honest.
Well, he he was at the battle, and I would think he would know if his brother
but
was captured.
He just fell into water. Like,
I would think they would.
If it's something any more than just like, well, we didn't find his body, so he's probably alive.
Yeah, but I would think they would go looking for him because he is the head of the Lannister army.
Yeah.
So
I mean, maybe.
I don't know. That's what I assumed anyway.
Yeah,
but it's a good point. I hadn't really thought about it.
Like, don't get me wrong. I know with Varys, you have a lot of information that comes and goes. So I mean, you can probably just put it in that category of loopholes. But like, as quickly as everything's going, it's interesting that they actually know he's alive.
Yeah, true. It is a big.
But then again, apparently, by the time you actually see Jaime again, you realize Tyrion's still in contact with Bronn. So
right, which we'll get to. But so Tyrion obviously comes up with a brilliant plan. Well, she only listens to Jaime, but so Jaime might listen to me. So yeah, how? So
it's a bit of a stretch still.
Still. And then they're like, well, how am I going to get to King's Landing? And everybody looks at Davos. He's like, I can get you in, but I'm no fighter.
Yeah.
Typical Davos.
It is kind of a fun little position for Davos to be in. It's like, hey, Davos, how'd you lose your hand? Smuggling.
It's the one thing he's good at. I mean,
well, I mean, he's not really bad in terms of a general either. But
yeah, he's a good advisor.
Yeah. But it wasn't his strong suit, apparently, as much as smuggling.
So Davos obviously agrees, and then Jon and Jorah both. Well, Jorah volunteers, and then Jon volunteers, and then Dany's like, "Well, I don't have to let you go." He's like, "Well, you gotta kind of trust me."
Yeah, I came to this rock not knowing who the F you were.
So
why don't you try returning the favor?
Kind of puts her in a corner with it. It's kind of interesting, really, Jon.
Where she's just like, well, I can kill him or let him go, but he might be useful, and that might be an issue.
I kind of want to shag him, so okay, you can get him.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Yeah. So, anyway. So, that moves us back to Winterfell. Again, we're moving fast.
Because, like, that was a longer scene.
Yeah.
And that was still only like a minute.
If that, maybe 2 or 3 minutes tops, and we're already on to the next scene. And I just like to call this another restless court meeting in the North, because these guys really like to get together and sit around and
they're cold
bitch.
And whiny.
Yes.
That's essentially it. They have nothing left to do.
I guess.
Just hang around and bitch.
Bitch at each other. The king in the North should stay in the North. Maybe we should have followed you, Sansa, instead.
It's like, that's very nice, but you chose him.
Yeah.
And, like, I thought we covered this like an episode ago.
Yeah, pretty much. And takes us right into the next scene. The Sansa and Arya are kind of off by themselves. And
pretty much in what was their parents' bedroom.
Yeah, and she's like, this is this mom and dad's room? And she's
like, maybe.
It's... You always did like nice things.
Yeah.
Real bitchy. It's real fun.
Yeah, it's
sister banter, I guess.
Yeah, it's a nice sibling rivalry. Like, last episode, you're like, oh, well, you guys were really getting along. And now I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot why I was always so annoyed with you.
So very annoyed. And she's like, but she has a point to the whole thing. She's like, you need to stick up for Jon more. You need to take off their heads if you need to make them obey, damn it.
Well, then she also has the point, is like, well, we kind of need them and their support still when Jon gets back, so no.
And but she does point out, she's like, you're thinking of it right now. Now you're even thinking about it.
The whole, like,
ambition.
I can technically kind of rule.
Yeah, your ambition.
It is funny because of Arya's training, you do have that kind of, like, being able to kind of read people a bit better, and it definitely throws Sansa off.
It definitely throws her off, and it annoys her, too. Obviously.
Yeah, just like, damn it.
Just go away.
You're not supposed to know these things. Don't read my diary.
Kind of, yeah, that's a good point. I like that. That's funny.
The medieval taking over the entire realm sort of equivalent, I guess.
I guess. But yeah, she just totally calls her out on her political ambitions to be queen of the North.
Yeah.
You're thinking it right now.
Honestly, probably even more than that.
Yeah.
If we're being honest about it.
Yeah, the queen of the Southern Kingdom. So
yeah.
You're probably right, unfortunately. She learned a little too much from Cersei.
Yeah.
In the times. All right, so that moves us on. Again, we're moving fast. Davos and Tyrion arrive at King's Landing.
Wait, do we see the scene with Arya stalking Littlefinger now?
That's later.
That later? Okay.
That's later, yeah. Remember, they're all over the place.
Quick scenes back and forth.
Back and forth. So now we're at King's Landing, and Davos has arrived with Tyrion at King's Landing.
Yeah.
And Tyrion hits the shore and kind of gets kind of philosophical and is like, last time I was here, I shot my father with a crossbow.
And Davos has a great response.
Great comeback.
Last time I was here, you killed my son.
With wildfire.
Yeah.
So shut the fuck up.
Yeah. It's like, we both didn't really leave here on the best of memories. Let's move forward, shall we?
And honestly, I kind of forgot about that. So I can see why Davos doesn't really like Tyrion very much. And
the interesting thing is, like, all things considered, he doesn't seem particularly pissed off at Tyrion.
He's not pissed off because I think he understands this war, but
yeah, like, he definitely seems to get, like, we were just on different sides of this. He's not, like, as personal a thing as that is, he doesn't really hold it personally.
No. And I think that's what makes Davos very beyond himself, you know, as a character.
He's a very mature character in a world that's actually pretty petty and shallow.
Yeah, he's seen a lot in his days and has matured. He's the wise sage of the street, so to speak. Yeah.
But the funny thing is, like, if not for their history, you could see Davos and Tyrion actually getting along in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because where Tyrion's more the book smart, and he also is street smart in his own way, but Davos is very street smart.
You have Davos who's really learned from experience.
Right.
And who's really kind of learned from interacting with people in different situations.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like, it's not that he isn't book smart as well, it just doesn't really have that as much in his time as much as Tyrion has.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you only see him really learn to read, like, a couple seasons back, so.
Right. True. But still, it's the high birth, if you will, wise man and the flea bottom wise man, as it were.
Definitely different perspectives, but both, like, able to learn from their experiences.
Precisely. So the other big thing is Davos says, well, I'm off the flea bottom on business. So you're on your own, pal.
Like, yeah, you know the streets well. You'll get the hang of it.
Yeah, and when I first saw this, I'm like, where's he going?
Kind of, right?
Yeah, I'm like
I didn't. What the fuck is he going to do?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, and then Tyrion's like, what if somebody steals the boat? Well, then we're fucked. So you best hurry.
Yeah, which is a fun sort of, well, shit happens sort of thing.
Yeah, I know, right?
Which still kind of works with the character, actually.
It does. And again, we're moving fast. Next scene, Jaime and Tyrion reunion.
Yep. Ron has escorted Jaime over.
For what is going to be sparring practice.
Yeah.
Down in the dungeons of, well, just call it the underground of the
King's Landing.
The King's Landing.
Yeah, which is a little odd, I guess, but, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, same place with the dragon skulls and everything.
Yeah.
And he uses that as a ruse to set up the meeting.
Because, you know, got to get paid.
So I'm sure Tyrion paid him off nicely.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
You would hope.
You would think. But
like, it's not just like a favor for an old friend sort of thing.
Yeah, but let's face it, it's been a while since these two have seen each other face to face. I mean,
it is actually kind of interesting. You don't really see Tyrion and Bronn interact in the scenes, even though it has been so long.
Yes, you don't see that interaction, but this is the first time it's overwhelmed by the more important, which is Tyrion and Jaime, which we haven't seen.
Even with that, it's kind of funny because there's not like, glad to see you didn't die by a dragon. Like, you don't have that moment.
Right.
Even though, once again, like, it really looks like he almost died like an episode back.
Yeah, it's pretty serious though.
Yeah,
you know, it's
really straight to the point in business. Like, this is another scene where it's like you probably could have drawn this out a little bit and actually still filled out the episode well and had character development, but just you didn't have time.
You didn't have time, but Tyrion still tries to break the ice. He's like, well, you really outsmarted me on the strategy, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, giving up Casterly Rock and all. I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah. I mean, you do still have that interaction. You still have it, but I really feel like this is one of those scenes that could have expanded a bit.
Oh, I would love to have seen a lot more of this. And they go on, and it's and then he goes into he tries to justify killing his dad, Tywin, and
he's like,
Jaime's just
fucker always hated me. He was going to kill me for something I didn't do. He knew I didn't do it.
And Jaime's like, don't talk about father. He's just like, sorry.
At the same time, Tyrion has some valid points. He really was killing him because he was looking for an excuse to kill him.
Sure he was, and he had a valid point. But Jaime's, still pretty pissed off.
Yeah.
And the fact that he doesn't try to kill him, I think, is the only shows that he does still have some love for his brother. After all this time, but
there is also like he does know that he didn't kill Joffrey. So he's like, yeah, you have some valid points in this.
And Dad was an asshole. And, yeah.
We knew you. I know you were always hated in the family,
right? But then obviously straight to the point. Okay, I don't want to talk about Dad. And then he goes, and then that's when he proposes Dany's armistice so they can fight the White Walkers together. Yeah. So. And they don't even talk about that. So they really
not so much. After that, they kind of
cut it short.
Yeah, you kind of cut out of it, and then later on, it'll go to Jaime talking to Cersei, and
right where it's kind of the thing is all filled out.
Yeah.
So again, this is another scene where we definitely would like to see more interaction. It was tense. It was good interaction. It was good to see, but it was very short.
Yeah, I think like it's around this part of the episode where you really start seeing like all of the scenes that really could have been expanded on, filled, just kind of get cut to the point because. You have to cut it to the point.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, whenever this is released on DVD, you have extended clips of these. Like, I don't think it'd be completely, like, off at all to have some of these be, like, expanded upon.
I would hope so. I don't know if they shot them or not, but that would be cool.
Yeah, like, it might have been cut out of, like, the actual screenplay itself or, like, the script itself, but I could definitely see this having been longer at one point.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see a much longer meeting between the two and really flush some things out between them. But it is what it is. But they reward us because the next scene, guess who's back? Gendry, the boy that we sent out on a ship rowing so many seasons ago.
Yeah, like it's we saw him season 3, season 4,
I think. Season 4.
Yeah. Like, essentially at this point, we have reintroduced the last, like, just loose end that was out in the middle of nowhere. Because I think we commented that earlier in the season. Pretty much we brought everyone back except that one dude who kept on fucking rowing. Yeah. I know. Now that fucker's back. All the loose ends. Right back in the fucking mix.
The last Baratheon is back. And apparently, where did he go? He went back to King's Landing.
Yeah.
And he's a blacksmith and a weaponsmith making Lannister weapons.
Yeah.
Of all things.
Yeah, he even comments on it. Like, hey, well, this is apparently where they least expected me to be. And they look at the swords and not me. So fuck it.
Hiding in spite of their noses, literally. And I just like how Davos starts going, well, we need to go. And he's like, all right, great. Let's go.
Not even a question. It's like, no. Don't you want to know what we're doing now?
No.
I'm making I'm making
weapons for the Lannisters.
The people that, fucked me over. So
tried to kill my dad, tried to kill me. Yeah, I'm out of here.
Yeah. But then we see his giant fucking hammer.
It's awesome.
It's fucking awesome.
It's awesome. And not only is it awesome, not only does it have the stag horns on it, which is cool, but also I dug a little deeper and it turns out that Robert in the books during Rob's rebellion during the war used like a war axe hammer. Yeah. So it's only fitting that his son, it's a genetic component that the bastard son of Robert Baratheon would also use a warhammer.
But I think we were talking about this before. This season has introduced taken weapons to a fucking new level this season.
Yes.
Because you look at it, before this we had the sword with the wolf pommel, and that's cool. It is, it's a nice little touch. But this episode we get this, and it has this warhammer with the fucking horns from the stag husk or the stag, and then we also have the battle axe of Euron Greyjoy that has the fucking tentacles etched into it.
Yeah.
We really went from level 1 to level 10 weapons to just going straight to fucking 99 max weapon shit.
Exotic weaponry is definitely on the up and up this season. It's pretty much just been naming swords up to this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is.
There's some cool fucking weapons that have come out of this and just out of nowhere. Because legit, I see that Euron Greyjoy axe and I'm like, I want that axe so much. I know HBO's hey, this is about to run short. We're running out of episodes, right? Yeah. We need to get some merchandising out of this.
I as you and I both share that common interest of collecting weaponry when we were little, especially in younger days. I definitely am with you. I want the battle axe. I want the battle warhammer that he has.
The warhammer is cool, man, but I just fucking love that axe so much. I would hang that in my house.
All right, so moving on again. We're moving fast. Escape from King's Landing. Basically, starts off with Davos just trying to
set some rules.
Gendry, forget your father's name, keep it to yourself.
Yeah, we're just going to kick ass, don't worry about it.
Right.
Let's not make this more complicated than it has to be, because there's already a lot of fucking complications.
Yeah. And it's there's a little bit of humor here. Some guards come up, and they're like, and he pays them off, and they ask what's in the boat. And
well, not just that, but like you have that moment of like, really? It costs that much now?
That much.
And they're like, 15. Oh, you must be an old-timer. We haven't charged that in years.
15 gold dragons a piece? Yeah. Can't say it's been a pleasure doing business with you.
Yeah.
And then they ask...
But it's a fun little kind
of
like...
back and forth, but it shows Davos's smuggler.
Yeah, like this little bartering aspect of it's kind of interesting. And then like when they actually ask what's in the boat and he has to go make a cover for it.
Yeah.
Oh, so funny.
It's fun. He's smart, obviously, because he knows how to smuggle things, and his hammer's laying right there, and he just flips over the cover, covers up the warhammer, and shows, what's this? It's fermented crab. It's like medieval Viagra, apparently, which is pretty funny.
Oh, he has that nice little line. It'll put a hole in your chain bag.
Better hurry off to the whorehouses, boys. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And I thought, and then of course Tyrion comes along. The guards recognize him.
Well, they're like, "What are we looking for? A dwarf with a scar
like that?" I mean, Tyrion tries. He's like, "Nobody knows how to use a fish hook or something stupid." But we get to see Gendry get to use that warhammer.
Yeah, because he was itching to do it. It was like, is it now? Now? No. Because the entire scene, like we just saw, like the entire time Davos was like, no.
Yeah.
Like just kind of nodding. I was like, don't do it. And he's just like, yes, hammer time.
Boom. Hits the one, breaks the guy's skull in the back, and then hits the other guy right in the face.
Yeah. Like you could just see like their head just bash in.
Caved right in. So we get to see how effective his warhammer is.
Yeah, it's pretty effective.
Yeah.
There's actually like a meme of that entire scene where it's just like from the time you see Gendry up until that moment, he's just like, hammer time. Like in each scene, he's like, no. Yes.
Can't touch this. That's hilarious. Stop. Hammer time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
someone's gonna remix that into a music video.
Somebody it's gonna happen. It's out there.
Yeah.
If not, there you go. Facebook, go for it. Love to hear it, see it, all that good stuff. All right, moving on. Again, we're moving fast. Cersei and Jaime talk about Tyrion's proposal / something else has come up.
Well, not only Tyrion's proposal, but also the fact Bronn kind of betrayed him and her, and he kind of betrayed her, and really just a lot of back and forth, and it's a little bitchy, but like it's not super bad, like all things considered.
Well, I think because it's not super bitchy because it actually works into Cersei's favor.
Yeah, because she kind of knew what was happening beforehand. She's like, we're really not going to win this war about a little backstabbing, so we need something.
Perfect opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So, obviously, Qyburn had been spying on Jaime for one thing.
Yeah.
That's a big thing, I think, and it shows. He's all about the Queen, and definitely doesn't matter who he has to spy on. Even Jaime, he'll do it. Number one, and then and obviously Cersei brings up, what are you going to do? You need to punish Bronn.
Yeah.
He betrayed you and me. Hello. So that doesn't happen in this episode, so I'm not sure what that's going to mean.
Hopefully that won't be a thing that goes into it, because I could still see Bronn being a useful person.
I would think so, too, and I don't think Jaime would want to do it anyway. We'll see what happens. Of course, the biggest thing is apparently Cersei's pregnant again.
Yeah. She's like, ran out of kids, let's make more.
Yeah. Which is interesting.
Which is weird timing. Like, don't get me wrong, like you do have her being, kind of ravenous a few episodes beforehand, but it is very quick timing on the whole thing.
Yeah. I guess that sex scene did the trick. But it not only that, but I went back and I double checked that when she goes to see the whatever it is out in the woods, the fortune teller, the witch, whatever, and they got that whole prophecy about all of her kids dying.
Yeah,
there's nothing about another kid. Number one, about her having any more kids. And then
I don't know if it actually mentions how many kids she has, does it?
Yeah, I think all three. She says she had 3 kids and they all die different ways, and it actually spells it out for her.
Oh, okay.
Or that they would all die.
Yeah.
So number one, there's no mention about a 4th kid. or a new one. And also that the prophecy goes on. It sounds like the way it ends is she gets killed by her brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or a brother-like figure. So I'm thinking it's Tyrion at this point. Unless it's Jaime.
Yeah.
Which it could happen.
I mean, you have seen like some seeds of doubt in Jaime as they've kind of had the storyline going, so maybe to prevent a Mad King scenario, maybe.
But if she's
it could also just be like, well, fuck it, she's crazy, but that's okay.
But now that she's carrying his baby again.
Yeah.
And obviously
it gives him an argument for actually having a legacy to fight for.
For again, yeah, exactly. So not a good thing if you're Jaime or a Lannister hater, so Jaime now is back on her side 100% and is keep fighting for her. Right.
I don't know wrong. Weirder shit has happened in the show, so
yeah. And the other big thing is she's not going to hide that Jaime's the father either.
Yeah, she's going to be quite open about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not like the Targaryens were particularly hiding about like their various forms of incest in the books either. So
right, but still,
it's unusual for them.
It's a big step for him, I guess. Mm-hmm. She's giving that to him as well. Yeah. And that the last line though is interesting. She kind of whispers in his ear, "Never betray me again," as she hugs him. So that just tells you
there's a weird threat sort of thing to it.
It's kind of like a spider in the web kind of embrace. It's like, okay, sure, I'll never.
Nice news, bad news.
Bad news. This is great news, and I love you too. But just
try this shit again. I will stab you.
I will kill you. Yeah, I will kill you like a Will Ferrell moment or something. Yeah. All right, so again, moving quick.
Yeah, because even that episode, which is very emotionally tense, like a minute and a half.
Hit that. Yeah. Moving on. Gendry meets Jon Snow. So we're back at Dragonstone.
Yep.
They're already back from King's Landing.
Yeah, it's a very quick trip.
Very quick trip.
There's an entire montage scene of just like their fun little boat ride just got cut.
Got cut. Yeah. Completely out.
Which is a shame because it sounds adorable.
It would make for some interesting conversations, Davos, Tyrion, and Gendry.
Yeah.
And some stories, I'm sure. So Davos
tells Gendry about the time Tyrion killed his son on, the Battle of Blackwater.
Yeah, that would be little.
All laughed.
Ooh, yeah. I don't want to touch that one. All right, so Davos starts off the scene with, "You're Clovis, you're not Rob's bastard. This is what you need to say. This is who you are, blah, blah, blah."
Here's the backstory. Let's not make things more convoluted than it has to be.
Yep.
Gendry's like, fuck this. Hi. I'm Gendry Baratheon.
So, John, this is Clovis. Say hello. Hi, I'm Gendry Baratheon.
I'm the last Baratheon.
I am Rob Baratheon's bastard son.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which really does sound like that could be its own standalone little spin-off. The Last Baratheon.
The Last Baratheon. But yeah, our fathers were friends together. No need to hide anything.
Yeah, we can be friends.
Yeah, we can be friends.
He's like, I've been spending my life around Lannister soldiers. I hate them. I need a friend. Let's be friends.
Let's be friends. Our father, they fought together,
Yeah, as much as I'm making fun of it, it actually does have a good dynamic and a fun back and forth. Well, once again, still a very quick scene, and I feel like could have been expanded.
I would love to have seen this whole scene expanded.
It is kind of amusing seeing like Jon and Gendry's like banter back and forth. They actually seem like they get along together very quickly. Actually,
it's instant, and it's funny because there's so much irony here because they say their fathers were friends and fought together, and as far as they know, that's true. But Jon is not the son of Ned, and in reality,
he was raised by Ned, so he picked up a good bit of personality.
He was raised by Ned, but in reality, when you think about it, okay, number one, so let's get this straight. Gendry's dad, Robert, killed Jon's real father, Rhaegar Targaryen.
Yep.
They're not both bastards, so we'll talk about that later. So it's just the reality is my father killed your parental grandfather as well, and who was the Mad King, and so there's just a lot of irony. But yet, on top of that, what's really going on is this banter. It's like Jon's like, "Yeah, I saw your dad at Winterfell, and yeah, I met your dad at my shop."
Yeah, there's a lot of like catching up and like rapport building very quickly.
And there's that great line, and Jon goes, "Well, you're a lot leaner." And he turns back at John and goes, well, you're a lot shorter.
And well, the funny thing is, like, you actually look at, like, Ned and Rob's relationship.
Yes.
They kind of give each other shit a little bit, too.
And that's the first thing I thought of, too.
Yeah, like, it really is meant to draw parallels to it.
Yeah, because you go back to season 1, and when Rob comes to Winterfell, and Rob's like, you've gotten fat.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Ned just gives him a look down like, bullshit, look at you.
Yeah, you got old.
So it's that same banter. It's so much is going on here. The irony is there. For us, it's there. Not for them, but instant friendship almost. Crazy stuff. And basically John's like, well, welcome aboard. We get all the help we need all the help we can get anyway. So, okay.
Yeah, it might not necessarily want Daenerys to know you're the last Baratheon, but
right,
that might be some issues. But
right, then there's more irony, right?
Yeah,
because now you got a Baratheon fighting with them. Yeah. So,
but essentially, it's funny because you look at Daenerys' army now. You have Targaryen from her and Jon technically, but technically he's also representing Starks. And then you also have Tyrion's the Lannisters, and probably also Targaryen. And then you have the last Baratheon. You have like the 4 main fucking houses. And technically, you also have the Greyjoys, except the one lady got kidnapped.
Right, but that's true.
So I mean, if Theon's still on board, you technically have like the 5 main houses kind of united behind her, at least partially,
which is very cool. It's almost like her knights are forming or her lords are forming right before you.
Yeah,
in a
way.
Like
she actually has like the Lord of the North and of like the oceans, and,
right?
Yeah,
she's like,
I don't know what the fuck she's gonna do with the Baratheon except maybe execute him.
Well, honestly, I would kill Theon, but that's just me.
I mean, like definitely, if you can get Theon's sister running stuff in the islands, that's probably for the best.
That'd be the best scenario.
Like, generally, you don't want to trust Euron. Euron just want to kill.
Yes, you do. Very much. He's just
take his axe, but kill him.
He's too crazy. But keep the axe. I like the axe. The only other thing that happens in the scene that really does happen in the scene is Davos is like, you really shouldn't go. You're going to die. And
he's like, have you been north of the wall? It's horrible.
He's like, I'm ready to fight. And then I love Davos's line, well, nobody mind me at all. All I've ever done is live to an old age for being a coward.
I've actually survived wars and like guards and
how many kings now?
Yeah. But you guys have good luck fighting like north of the wall against like ice zombies. Have fun with that.
Good luck with that. But he does go with them. He just doesn't go to the wall after a while. But anyway, we'll get to that part as well. And we're moving on again. We're moving fast.
Yep.
So now we are out on the beach, and this is Tyrion and Jorah / Farewell at Dragonstone. You get a nice quick banter between Tyrion and Jorah. He goes, I missed you, Mormont. Nobody glowers like you do.
Yeah.
You know, not even Grey Worm, I think, which is kind of a funny line.
Yeah,
you know?
It's pretty amusing. And like, it's the funny thing about the scene is like, I almost forgot they traveled together.
Yes.
Like
that he got kidnapped by Jorah. Yeah, I did too.
Like, don't know, like, it's definitely something like you remember after a second. You're like, wow, I just, like, that was a bit of the season. Like, I just completely forgot about that. Yep. But yeah, they have had, like, a lot of character interaction.
They have. There's a lot of history there. And he gives them that slaver's coin that they were supposed to live off the rest of their lives with. And
and he's like, bring it back.
Bring it back to me. Your queen needs you. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, we get Jon and Dany's farewell. He says, well, if something happens to me, you don't have to worry about the King in the North anymore. And then she's like, well, I've gotten quite used to you. So
it's a nice little romantic sort of moment.
Banter.
Either that or, at least friendly.
A little friendly. Very friendly, actually. Yeah. Of course, she also does the same with Jorah, though, too, beforehand. Jorah kisses her hand goodbye and all that, so... But
Jorah shows like the level of stalker he's gone to.
That's actually a fair point, really. All right,
King of the Friend Zone.
King of the Friend Zone, awesome, love it. King of the Friend Zone. We'll use that going forward, I'm sure. All right, so moving on. We're moving fast. We're back in Old Town, and this is Sam is in his home. Looking over his books and his scrolls and doing his homework for the Maesters, I guess.
I don't know if he's actually doing homework for the Maesters or just like trying to get information that he can't do during the day.
I guess that's probably an accurate description. Either way, he's trying to work hard and Gilly's just once again randomly looking through books and reading out annoying statistics like how many shits somebody took and how many steps are at the separator.
Well, I think her point was like, it's really weird this dude was that like detailed about everything he fucking wrote down.
Including
like, who writes that much?
Who writes down all their bowel movements?
Yeah. Like, I think it was just an amazement, like, just like, that's kind of interesting in a weird way sort of thing. And that's fair. And that's fair.
And in the middle of all that uselessness, there she gets this one little grain for us, our nerds out there. She starts reading about how Rhaegar had a secret annulment of his marriage so he could marry somebody else in Dorne.
Yeah.
Never says who.
I mean, we gotta know.
To me, I think it's Lyanna Stark, who obviously gives birth to their son Jon.
Yeah.
So, like we were hinting at earlier, Jon's not a bastard after all, perhaps. So, kind of an interesting little nugget there.
It's just one of those things like, it just wasn't a publicly known marriage, pretty much.
Yeah, it was all done in secret stuff, I'm sure. But
yeah, it's another thing just confirming that, essentially.
Yeah. Eventually, Sam kind of gets fed up by listening to her because she goes back to reading statistics.
It's funny how he actually gives like the kid a book as well as like here.
He's just like, I'm done reading. I want to know about people's shits and all this other stuff. Goes off, steals more scrolls and more books that he thinks might be relevant.
Yeah.
And then...
like, just kind of picking at random. It was like, this one looks pretty, this one looks pretty, that one looks dense.
Yeah, that'll work too. What the hell?
I don't know, like, he might have some understanding of which ones are which, but it's really hard to say.
It looked pretty random to me.
Yeah, it kind of does. Like, it's just like, these scrolls up here because I can fit them in the bag.
Exactly. Like, I'm pissed off and take whatever I can.
Fuck this place.
Exactly, I'm out. And
he's a college dropout.
And right before, really, because right before he leaves, like, didn't you want to be a maester? He's like, well, I'm tired of reading about men that are better than I.
Yeah.
And that is exactly the same line that his father uses right before in season 6 before he goes off to the Citadel.
Yeah. It'd actually be kind of funny if he actually goes back to his family home.
That would be interesting.
Like, as a stop along the way and, like, realize, wait, I'm the last one alive? This is all mine now?
Woo! That's what I'm thinking is going to happen because I think he's heading, at this point, back for Castle Black.
Yeah.
At this point.
Well, either that or Winterfell.
One of the two, yeah. So, but if he stops there, that would make sense that he find out about his brother and his father.
Yeah, well, because he like stopped there on the way there because it was just like a point in between
place to stop and refresh. Yeah.
So like if he actually like either learns about it or just wants to go back to his family home, you're like, all right, I'm not going to do the Maester thing. I'm going back to serve the North.
Yeah.
So and then just finds out along the way.
Right. Okay, we're moving on. We're back in Winterfell. Told you, we keep moving fast here, people. This is the scene. This was the scene I was dreading because I knew it was coming. And I'm like, Arya. In fact, through this whole scene, I'm going, Arya, you got to be smarter than this. Arya, you got to be smarter than this.
Yeah, like it's weird she didn't take on someone else's face.
Yeah.
Throughout this whole bit, right?
Yeah, done something. Now, granted, she would have had to kill somebody to do that. But,
I mean, there's probably bodies lying around.
But you would think with all of her skills and stuff, she could find a way to spy on him.
Well, actually, she seems like she's doing kind of a good job, except, like, Littlefinger's also kind of a sneaky fuck.
He's a pro, and I know she hasn't been around him in a long time, but you'd think after all that training, though, she could out-fox the fox. I don't know.
Yeah, in most cases, I think she'd be fine, except who she's dealing with specifically.
Yeah.
And you clearly already see Littlefinger suspicious of her very quickly.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's...
not only with the whole improved fighting thing, but just in the whole he's capable of maneuvering around thing. So...
yeah. So maybe he knows what she's been taught because he's seen it before.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is, like, I'm kind of curious if the entire thing is a trap on his end.
I think so.
Because essentially, like, the little note is... it's actually one Sansa Stark sent to...
Robb Stark, yeah.
No, it is something Sansa Stark actually sent out.
Yeah.
After her father died, pronouncing Joffrey as the rightful king and heir.
And that Robb should come and bend the knee to Joffrey, is what it says.
Yeah.
And, so... and the fact that... I don't know, it seemed all too easy that Arya is taking the bait. And to me, Littlefinger's doing it because as long as that sister bond exists... He can't make any headway.
Pretty much, like Arya stands in his way.
Yes, very much
of
so.
Having control over Sansa, who could have control over the North.
Precisely, which would give him control of the North.
Yeah,
right. So
though to be honest, I actually think he needs to be. I wouldn't be surprised if he's as equally distrustful of Bronn, except he might just view Bronn as a weirdo out in the corner somewhere. Whereas Arya is actually clearly has interest and has something she wants to gain throughout the scenario.
I think Bronn put him in his place real early, especially with that whole ladder comment.
Chaos is a ladder.
Chaos is a ladder. I think that was enough to throw him off his game and know I can't touch this kid, and if I do, I'm probably going to get burned.
Yeah, but I think it's also Bronn seems to be acting against the White Walkers, but not really in any other capacity.
Yes.
Like, that's his sole mission at this point. Like,
it is.
He has no say in who rules, like,
he doesn't care.
Throne.
He really doesn't care, honestly. At least that's the impression he gives.
Yeah.
So. All right, moving on. So it's a fast ship, it's a fast show, and they've gone from Dragonstone all the way to Eastwatch. So arrival at Eastwatch. If you're a map lover, you got to hate this show because they move really quick all over the map.
Well, I mean, they give you a map,
really quick.
which supposedly is actually, I think, is actually based off a landmass. I just don't remember which one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think I've heard someone say it's like actually like if you take Ireland and like invert it, it's actually really close to Westeros.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if
I
that's
can see
accurate.
it being looking like the United Kingdom as a whole, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know how accurate that is, but supposedly it's something along that line.
Along those. Okay. But yeah, so they're back at Eastwatch. Eastwatch isn't really a castle as it is so much. It's just kind of like an outpost, really.
Yeah, it's essentially a gate through the wall.
Yeah, with a gate that goes through the wall.
I mean, that's a kind of the wall as a whole.
Yeah,
like, all the ones are kind of like that.
It's just
because like if there's an interior component to it, we don't really see it too heavily.
Yeah,
we really just see like the one prison cell, one like dining room, and then that's it.
And it's obviously recycled scenes they've used before from the Black. The Castle Black.
Yeah, I'm sure they use very similar sets.
Yeah, I'm sure.
If not the exact
yeah,
same set.
That's what I think they do. But yeah.
It makes sense. Like, there's no need to build a separate set that looks identical to your other sets.
Right, exactly. But still, it's it literally is. It's just an outpost around the East Gate. There is, that's basically all it is. There is a sea, and unlike our what we've seen in past maps where Brian had pointed out the sea is frozen over. This is not. The sea is definitely there, and there's the ice walls right there. So everything is contained, at least for the moment.
For the moment. The White Walkers do have the fun, chilling effect around them sort of thing, though. So
right.
See how that goes.
We'll see how that goes in the future, right? I like Tormund's first line, this is it for your men. Where's the big woman?
Yeah. You see his obsession as clearly as ever.
I even like how Davos goes on and goes, well, I'll only be the way. I'm not going. And Tormund's like, you're right.
Yeah.
You will.
But I think that's, once again, Davos just being smart. Like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going out with the fucking ice zombies. No, I'm staying right here.
Are you crazy?
There's going to be a wall between me and the supernatural shit.
I'm a great advisor and I'm a great smuggler, but when it comes to dead people, fucking forget it.
I'm down a few fingers, man. Let's not put me out in that.
I don't want to go out there. But Tormund says, you're not the only ones that want to go beyond the wall. And who's in the prison cell but the Hound, the priest Thoros Amir, and Beric Dondarrion, which is the guy with the flaming sword.
Yeah. Which, probably goes well against White Walkers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't seem very fond of the fire.
Yeah, I can see that being very helpful when the time comes. Gentry's like, don't trust them. They're the Brotherhood. They tried to sell me to the Red Witch to be murdered.
Yeah.
So automatically, another thing of contention.
Yeah, no one really seems happy to hang out with the other one, really. Yeah. They all seem kind of annoyed with each other.
Yeah. Jorah points out Thoros, they apparently know each other. We don't know how or why yet that I know of. Then, of course, Thoros says, Jorah, Mormont? And Tormund goes, Mormont? As in Lord Commander that hunted us like dogs?
Yeah.
So,
well, you also have the one dude who's also going on like, they haven't given me a drink in a long time. I really need one.
Yeah. So you got all this. They all have a reason to hate each other at some point in their history, their past, whatever. But yet here they are.
Yeah, it's funny because eventually the Hound is like, are you going to let us out or not? I don't give a fuck.
Well, I loved it because Beric starts on his, this is divine providence that brought us together, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, shut the fuck up. Yeah. Which is awesome. And finally John comes to the consensus, well, we're all on the same side because we're all breathing.
Yeah.
That's our common goal. Yeah.
People outside the wall, not breathing. Us, breathing. We're team breathing.
Team breathing. Team A-team. Yay, go team. So, yeah, we've kind of created the Knights of Beyond the Wall.
I mean, you have a small expedition. I mean, if you want to call them Knights, that's fine, I guess.
Knights, or how about Band of Not-So-Brothers?
Yeah. You go with that one.
Band of Not-So-Brothers.
The hateful however many fuckers that are there.
The hateful 8. I think it's 8. I have to check.
One Tarantino film, Hateful 8. Yeah.
Well, I mean, actual. There are 8.
Oh, I actually don't know how many were there.
John.
You don't count Davis because he's not.
Right,
no.
right. I think it is. It's close anyway. It's either 7 or 8. All right, so and then of course the whole episode ends with them walking out beyond the wall into the snow.
Yeah,
together. So yeah, what an episode.
Yeah, a lot of points.
A lot of points, a lot of detail. I love how it ends with the Band of Not-So-Brothers. Yeah. Going out on the mission beyond the wall.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely sets up for the next episode and like where that's going to pick up at.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's going to be a lot of White Walkers and a lot of have a flaming sword.
Well, it's actually interesting because as we're going on to episode 6 next, and like there's only 7 or 8 for the season.
7 this season, 7 next season.
So I mean, we really haven't dealt with the White Walkers too heavily up until this episode, and even that's just like a glimpse at them.
Just see them. That's all. So this is the first battle this season. Yeah. With them. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It's going to be one hell of an episode, I'm sure. Yeah. So, but this was a great episode too. Well, how would you grade it, Aaron?
I'd probably give it like an A-.
A-, yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, it's still a really good episode. There's some bits I'd actually like to see expanded on. Mm-hmm. I feel like if you didn't have the same... If you had like the same like episode format you've had in like previous seasons, there's a lot of scenes that would have been expanded on. Yeah. But because we're cutting it down and we're trying to kind of move things forward at a slightly faster pace, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it definitely does kind of leave some of those scenes kind of able to be expanded. Yes. If you wanted to.
Yeah, if you like that conversation and one.
Yeah, like you like the character development aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I do, so I really would. Yep. Especially with like the Gendry scenes where like. You haven't seen him for seasons, and like they brought him back in, and they're clearly tying up all the loose ends, and you have that funny kind of rapport with characters kind of almost instantaneously.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like it's still moving at a good pace. You still do have character development and building, and it really does hit all the points it knows it needs to hit.
It does, and it does it very effectively. In fact, I would probably grade it a B+, A- as well. There's a lot of irony going on here, a lot of storytelling going on here. It's like we said at the beginning, it was necessary. It lets you catch your breath back from the battle of the loot train with the dragon.
Yeah.
And gets you, but it also starts setting up and new plot points, new areas and thinking that needed to happen, but it happens very quickly.
Yeah, I haven't seen the next episode yet, even though that's been posted already.
Yeah, I'm not doing that either. Nope.
But at the same time, like it definitely does seem like it's setting up for a big episode next episode as well. Yeah. Not only do you have a lot of things that can go down with the White Walkers, but it leaves kind of the entire South between Cersei and Daenerys kind of up for grabs because you may not necessarily have some of the more level-headed advisors there.
Yep.
And where things go with Arya and Littlefinger is really kind of up for grabs as well.
Well, I think you're going to see the division, unfortunately. Yeah. We'll see. Maybe I'm hoping that.
Like, I don't think it's going to go Arya kills Sansa, takes her face.
No.
I don't think it's going to go that far.
I don't think.
But it could go into a weird way.
It could. It could go wrong real quick there. Yeah. So, a lot to look forward to. A lot to see what happens. All right, real quick, where can you find 4 Midwest Guys? It's real simple, guys. You go to our website, the number 4midwestguys.com. Again, that's the number 4midwestguys.com. One more time, the number 4midwestguys.com. There you can find links to our iTunes, Podbean, Facebook, Twitter, as well as any other resource that we're out on. You can find a way to like, follow, or subscribe. You can also find all the podcasts on the website in chronological order as we release them, or you can go to the links at the top where they're categorized. So if you just want to listen to the Night's Watch, you click the Night's Watch. If you want to listen to our Game of Thrones spin-off, The House of Xanardelli, you can just click House of Z. If you like Star Wars Rebels, click Star Wars Rebels podcast, Binge Watch podcast. It's all archived for you appropriately. It's your one-stop shop, the number 4midwestguys.com. All right, Aaron. Well, I certainly do appreciate you hanging out with us for this extra long episode because it was an extra packed episode.
Yeah, no worries.
Absolutely. And this is B. Willie saying, we'll catch you next time.